So, at this point, I have bound my skin to these joints, and as I move the various joints around, things are going to happen. So if I take this head joint and I rotate it, you'll see that the head kind of distorts oddly, and you're probably wondering why that's happening. I'm going to select the model, and in my right-click menu, this is not a shift right-click, this is a regular right-click. There's a new thing, it's called the Paint Skin Weights tool. When I start it running, it opens the tool settings window. Mine is opening in this side panel here. And what the Paint Skin Weights tool does is it shows me a list of all of the joints in the model. If I look at the head joint, I get this white and black display. Places that are showing as white are affected by the joint. Places that are showing as black are unaffected by the joint, and any kind of shade of gray is affected by multiple joints. So the head of the eye monster is being affected by the head joint, but also by the right hip and the left hip, and probably the knees and the ankles as well, because Maya is crazy. So we're going to fix this, and I'm going to reset my tool because I've done some funny things with it. But we're going to fix this, and the process for fixing this is both easy and weird. So first, there's this little flag over here, and when I open it, it allows me to turn off selection modes for things. So I'm going to turn off the selection of joints for a moment and press my Q key to move into the selection tool. If I leave joint selection turned on, Maya wants to select the joints over everything else, and what I want to do is select vertices. So now I can go into vertex mode and I can make a big selection box around the head. It does help to use your orthographic views for this because your selection tends to be a little bit cleaner. And I want to select just about everything that is part of the head, all the way to there and all the way to there. So those are all the vertices that make up the head. I could go a little bit further, and as another shortcut for you, Shift period will grow your selection. So if I wanted to get the next row of vertices out here, I could do that. I'm going to leave them alone for now because I don't really want to paint the transitional areas like the hip, the knee, the ankle. I just want to paint the areas that I know should be going to a single joint. Like all of this stuff here should be going to the head. So with these vertices selected, I'm going to right click, and again it's not a shift right click, just a regular right click, and go to Paint Skin Weights. My vertices stay selected, and if I click on the head joint, what I have the ability to do is read along down here. I'm in replace mode. I'm replacing with an opacity of 1 and a value of 1, so I'm going to flood these vertices with a value of 1. 1 is the numerical equivalent of white, so when I do this, the head should turn white, meaning that it is now fully influenced by the head joint, and if I look at the hips, they are no longer affecting the head. What that did, if I turn my joint selection back on, is it means that now if I take this head joint and I rotate it, my creature will kind of look around with its little head. You can see that I'm getting some folding in the hip area. I'm going to leave that alone for now. I may come back to it later. I can continue with this method. I'm going to turn off my joint selection and then select all of the vertices in this thigh region. I will do one thigh at a time. So Shift period will grow my selection. Let's go up to there. All of these vertices should be affected only by the left hip joint. You know what, I might want to go one more row up, so I will just use my Shift key and add those. And now in my right click menu, I can go to Paint Skin Weights. This should be my left hip, So I will just flood that to my left hip. Then I'll go back to vertex mode, grab these. I want to leave the knee itself alone. But all this stuff here should go to that knee joint right there. So again, right click, paint skin weights, that will go to the left knee. And I will flood. Ooh, looks like I forgot to get rid of the right side joints. So let's undo that. That's why it's important to look at all of your views. So that should go to the left knee. Flood. Then down here in the foot, all these vertices here, every single one of them, maybe all the way up to there, should go to the ankle. Why? Oh, because I'm doing the knee. Okay. And then finally, all of these vertices here should actually go to the ball of the foot. Again, let's get rid of those vertices. Paint skin weights. There's the ball. Flood. All right. So now, if I take a look at my left leg, I will turn joint selection back on. The ball of the foot here will let me flap the toes. The ankle will let me flap the foot. The knee will let me bend that knee, straighten that knee, and the hip will let me bend the hip. On the right side, you'll see that I can do the same thing, but that when I do this, I get a lot of weight diminishing in the leg. It looks more like a spaghetti noodle. So this side still needs to be painted, whereas this side moves properly the way that I would expect a leg to move. The easiest way to mirror the skin weights for us is going to be selecting the model, and then in skin, clicked too quickly there. There's a mirror skin weights command. You want to run this one through the option box. Again, we're going to flip YZ, and in my case, because I painted the left side, I'm going to go positive to negative. If you painted the right side, you would uncheck this and go negative to positive. I've clicked apply. And now with the entire model selected, I can go back into my Paint Skin Weights tool, and if I look at the right side, there's the right ball, the right ankle, the right knee, the right hip, and so everything is nicely painted. If I look at areas like this, I can see that I am affecting this area with the right hip joint. I don't want that. I can turn my value down to 0, and I can paint this out. You do want to be careful if you're painting by hand. You basically want to click specifically on vertices. Vertices are the things that get painted anyway, but I can come in and I can get rid of that excess painting. I bet the same thing's happening with the left hip joint, so I will remove this. And again, what I'm doing is painting with a value of 0. When I'm all done with the painting, which I think I am, I should be good to move on to the next lesson. If you're still having trouble with the way that the head and the hips come together, the last thing that I'll show you is that in the paint operations, there is also a smooth operation. So if you don't like this, you can come in and you can try smoothing it, and that may give you a more subtle deformation. You probably don't want to go too far or the head and the hips will start blending together. And don't forget that when you're done, it will be helpful to you to go back and run that mirror skin weights command one more time so that you get even deformations on both sides. Now again, with the paint skin weights tool, what I'm really looking for is areas along the bone going up to the bone above them. So all of this thigh stuff goes up to the hip, the calf goes to the knee, the back of the foot goes to the ankle, and the front of the foot goes to the ball. It's okay to go in and test your joints every now and then. It's not a bad idea. And whenever you're ready, come and join me in the next lesson where we will be making controls for these joints.